Hello everybody, it is John, and the producer, who's now having another little bit of a hissy fit because he says, look, I've just done one video with you already, do I have to do another one? Yes, because as usual, people only watch because you're in it. You're a very special puppy. Yes, you are. At least you're not yawning on me this time. So what do you want to do? Do you want to hop down? You've said hello to the fans? He says, yep, it's a bit hot. So as I wander off screen for a few seconds, being very, very poor. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about games clubs and how accessible or friendly are they in your area. Now, a lot of, I guess, clubs or activities now have gone to fixed game shops. So in other words, a brick and mortar store in a lot of cases have taken over many of the aspects of a game club that used to be very, very prevalent in my early days. So, but thankfully, Brisbane does have one, I guess I'd like to call it one major game club, and certainly there are a number of smaller entities that do offer other options, of which I won't mention them here. I'm mainly going to be concentrating on the club that I joined last year, which was the League of Extraordinary Gamers. Now, it's at Ipswich Road, Woolloongabba. Now, this is Brisbane, Australia. Brisbane, Queensland, Australia is where I am. So this is clearly in relation to my local area. So I've been very lucky in the fact that I have a number of friends who have been able to take me to and from the club, because sadly I'm without a motor vehicle and am unable to get there. And for the first time as of last weekend, I actually had nobody that could take me, and that made me, sad, because I wanted to go to the club. And so I looked at a number of I looked at a number of options of being able to get to my club. And it's very scary when I start looking at how I would get to any other venue without my own motor vehicle. Now, if I wanted to catch a taxi, which is apparently the most expensive way to travel in Brisbane, it was the distance between my place and the club is about 2.3 kilometres. I'm not sure what that is in miles. I sadly no longer work in Imperial, except for measurements, but that's only for role-playing games. But so the distance was 12.34 kilometres, which would work out to, according to the fare calculator, an 18-minute drive to get there. And it quoted anywhere from $31 to $43 for the journey there. That's one way. One way. So if I was to take that option to get to and from, to the club and then home again, that would cost me anywhere from $62 to $87 to enjoy myself at the club. Very expensive. Uber, though, once again, the same distance, same amount of time. It was sort of half the price of about $23 and some spare change for the trip. So that's only what it calculates. Whether or not that's what you actually pay is sometimes, I've heard, debatable, because I've never caught Ubers, so I'm not sure what they are like. But that would be $50 for the day to get to and from from the club. The last option is public transport. Yes, well, public transport was essentially $4.34 for the fare, but there'd be anywhere, depending on what service I caught, it would be between half a kilometre to 1.5 kilometres to walk to the destination. So that was yeah, a bit daunting for me, because there's no actual bus system from my location that will get me to the venue. And so that was like $8.70, which was certainly the cheapest, and certainly one I wouldn't begrudge paying if the club was, for instance, on a major transport line that was accessible by my location. So obviously, if other people, for instance, Ipswich Road is a very busy road, and I'm fairly sure there would be lots of buses coming from one direction and another that would probably service that location, but not from where I am. So yeah, it was. Yeah, and of course the thing is that myself, being a rather troubled individual who does not like public transport at the best of time, or getting into a strange vehicle with somebody else that's, like a taxi or an Uber driver, really does make me feel very, very uncomfortable. So for me, they were options that made life very, very difficult for me to want to get out there and go to this venue to enjoy myself. Now, the other thing was that going to the LXG, I've always gone there where I have had a number of people I know, and so normally I will get a game, but all the people that I normally game with weren't going to be there at the club. Which leads us then to the next thing, is how friendly is your club with helping individuals who have social anxiety issues or mental health issues that make it very difficult for them to sort of go, hey, can I come in and join in your game? For me, that's incredibly rude, I think, to do that, but that's just me. I don't feel comfortable joining in with groups that I don't know any of the people, because it's very scary, and it's very scary for a lot of other people as well, not just me. So I guess the thing is that I'm asking is, how accessible are a lot of the clubs or venues you go to with accommodating new players, or players who turn up who don't have their regulars to engage with? It's an odd question, but it's one that, considering the popularity of board games and that, and the fact that you're trying to get more people to be included in it, is that if you, like, for instance, I will state this, that LXG is a wonderful venue where they are. It's air conditioned. They've got a kitchen. They have a lovely lady who comes in and prepares meals at midday, and that is, lovely. It is excellent. You can't, I think, get much better than what LXG offers, and certainly the comfort of the seating, the tables are just about big enough. And the thing, though, is they do have miniature tables for miniature gaming, so you can quite easily, if you've got a bigger game, take some of the tabletops from the storeroom, which is the other thing that LXG has over a lot of other places. Like, for instance, with the club that I used to help run, was that we'd have to bring our tables and terrain and everything every time we turned up to the club, because the venue wouldn't allow us. Well, we didn't store any of our stuff at a venue, so we always brought it to and from, which, Paul, myself, and two or three others were the primary loaders and unloaders of the club. But yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd share my little bit of trials and tribulations for last Sunday. And I've now seen on Facebook, they've posted saying, look, we had 105 people turn up with 6 or 7 new members. So which was wonderful. And it's more than likely just me, with the fact that my social anxiety is very, very difficult. However, I need to look at how to be able to get to other venues. That's not going to cost me an arm and a leg, because as a pensioner, my pension is, fairly modest, small. And the thing is that if I'm going to pay, about $80 or whatever to get to and from, this is by taxi, if I'm going to pay $80 for the day, that does make it a very expensive day for me to try and get to a venue. So that's almost an eighth, a tenth, an eighth of my pension. So that's a fairly significant portion to sort of give away for a one day event. And of course, the club does have 2 meets every month when it can fit them in, and that does indeed make it slightly expensive. So I don't know, how does everybody else in the rest of the world go with trying to get to venues? Or it can be the the game shop that's has regular meetups, or for a dedicated club that just accommodates people. Is what sort of costs and times are you paying to enjoy yourself? I'm just curious. Anyway, look, the producer's flat out. I've got to go open up this room. My wife's yelling at the television again. The politicians are on and trying to tell us that we've got to do some things, and she's telling them roughly where they can stick it. Yes, that's what we get for having a Labor government. But anyway, look, thank you everybody for watching. Until next time, signing off, the Honourable John.